Hello and welcome. I'm Jenny Hall. Thanks for joining me for another card making tutorial. Today I'm creating a summer scene with a watercolor wash as a background. Please forgive my voice as I have a bit of a cold. Creating a watercolor wash is really not difficult if you have the right tools and you keep on trying. So I'm starting out by stamping with Jar of Love stamp set, and I'll be using the Everyday Jars Thinlits dies. I'm going to use the ink refills and just put one drop on a clear block and then dilute that with a little bit of water. I'm using the smooth side of the watercolor paper. It has a smooth and a bumpy side. The smooth side won't look as natural whenever I'm doing the watercolor wash, but it will be beneficial for when I put a stamp to it. So I always try, if I know I'm going to do stamping, I add the color to the soft side or the flat side of the paper. The colors I'm using are Balmy Blue, Flirty Flamingo, Garden Green, and Granny Apple Green. I chose these colors because they remind me of a summer backyard scene. I live in New Jersey, which is in the eastern part of the United States, and my children like to play outside after it gets cool. So creating a watercolor wash is just as simple as first adding water to the paper and then adding diluted ink with the aqua painter while the brush is being gently squeezed. What it does is it allows the ink to disperse and not come out completely gloppy, if gloppy is the right word. So I'm doing more or less the same thing with the jar. I've stamped it onto a piece of watercolor paper that is the flat side, and I'm using a very low amount of ink. I want to just add the coloring to where the contours of the glass will be so that it looks natural. Glass doesn't have a lot of color, but it does have some color. Once this is completely dry, and I mean completely dry, then I'm adding some more water-based ink. I could have used StazOn, but I don't really like to use StazOn so much. It has a smell. I'm really not happy with the smell. So basic black archival ink is no longer sold by Stampin' Up. I'm going to use as much memento as I can. To give the firefly wings a little bit more look, I have used my chalk marker from Stampin' Up and colored in their wings, and then I used the Pineapple Punch Stampin' Right marker on the body of the firefly. And this new trio punch works greatly to add just a little cut end so that I can thread a piece of linen thread through the sentiment and attach it to the jar. I contemplated adding the sentiment on a strip of black and embossing it in white. However, if I create it as part of the jar, then it blends more into the scene, and it, to me, in my eye, it seems a bit more natural. Back to the colors. So Balmy Blue is a color that's replacing Soft Sky, and I'm really liking Balmy Blue, but I do like it in different concentrations. So for the Summer Sky, I wanted to have it be kind of fading out into pink. I see a lot of pink skies here in New Jersey, and so that's why I added the Flirty Flamingo, because it has a little warm tone to it. I'm using the very small wheatgrass, I'm guessing it's a wheatgrass stamp, from Jar of Love to give some interest behind the jar. It doesn't really look like a natural piece of grass. It maybe looks like a reed or something like that, but I'm just adding some of the color breakup. I do have some flowers that I'm going to place on the side as well, but those dark tones of the same ink color just help to intensify the effects. And in a sunset, things do appear to be really dark in front of it. So I have this little tiny envelope of flowers that were already created, and I thought I would create another flower to go with it, but in the same color as is used in the background, and that's Flirty Flamingo. So this is a 2-step stamp with Jar of Love. I'm not sure what kind of flower it is. It reminds me of a buttercup. And so I've added that, and it's going to be another way to break it up visually. It's not necessary to add the flowers, and you could add some kind of grasses instead. But I really like the way that this scene has come together, because to me, in my mind's eye, it is natural. This is what I see, minus the fence lines. Be sure to go over to my blog at jennystampsup.com, because I've added a photo of my son on an evening where we were catching fireflies. I have some other photos that I can't share because they are of some foster kids that we had at the time, and they had such a good time. They had never had the concept of fireflies, and it was a magical moment for them. But I do have a picture of me and Nate was a really little boy. He was maybe a year old. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. All of the supplies are listed down below in the video description, and yes, you can purchase all of them in my online store. I also offer some classes at my website that if you'd like to support me through purchasing my online classes, you can earn them free if you purchase the product that is the focus of the class. However, you can just purchase the class outright as well. I also have a sale for my retired products that you can go to my blog and you can see them there as well. Thanks again for joining me today. I'll see you next time.
Hi, my name is Trip. Thanks for watching the video. See you next time.